Hey Kings World families, we were just talking about something really fun that we're having in the month of October at the chapel. Every single Wednesday night in the month of October at all 4 of our campuses, we're having Campus Night. Campus Night is a way that we can all come together as a church and connect. Doors open at 5:30, we're gonna share a meal at 6, and then all age groups are gonna separate into their own areas for just some fun and learning more about Jesus. Miss Val, we have a really cool plan for the night for Kings World, don't we?
We do. So our Kings World students are going to be secret agents, and they're going to be on the case to discover what it means to have a relationship with Jesus. And it's going to certainly look a lot different than Sunday mornings. There's going to be different stations and games and a bunch of stuff, but there's one thing that's actually my favorite thing. Now, what is it?
Yeah, so you're going to want to make sure you're there every single Wednesday night, because on that last Wednesday night in October, our Kings World kids are going to have a really special opportunity to do something with the entire congregation. Our elementary students are going to be learning a brand new song, and they're going to lead us all in worship. And our preschool students are going to be learning a memory verse that they get to teach all of us. You're not going to want to miss it. So you can register right now at thechapel.com/campus nights to go to any of our 4 campuses on Wednesdays in October. We can't wait to see you there.
See you on Wednesdays in October.
Great. Good job.
That was
Jane.
good.
Done.
Good.
Done. We already did this. Done.
Friends, we have a super special song that we sing in Kings World, and we want moms and dads to experience worshiping together, even with slower songs too. So, kids, if you can grab mom and dad by the hand, we're gonna stand together and we're gonna sing a song that reminds us that we are a child of God.
Who am I that the highest king would welcome me? I was lost, but he brought me in. Oh, his love for me. Oh, his love for me. Who the Son sets free, oh, is free indeed. I'm a child of God, yes I am. Free at last, he has ransomed me, his grace runs deep. While I was a slave to sin, Jesus died for me. Yes, he died for me. Who the Son sets free, oh, is free indeed. I'm a child of God, yes I am. In my Father's house, there's a place for me. I'm a child of God, yes I am.
There are many voices that you are going to hear in this world, but we want you to know there is one voice, the voice of God to listen to. You are chosen. You are a child of God. Let's sing that together now.
I am chosen, not forsaken. I am who you say I am. You are for me, not against me. I am who you say I am. I am chosen, not forsaken. I am who you say I am. You are for me, not against me. I am who you say I am. I am chosen,
there, welcome to Story Lab. This week we're talking about grit, while we take a look at the story of someone who met up with a pretty unusual bonfire. Oh, and don't miss this either.
Hey, I'm Amaya,
And I'm Zeke.
and we're talking about grit, which is refusing to give up when life gets hard.
You know what I think is hard?
What?
Not using your phone.
I'm not using mine right now.
You gonna get that?
It could be important. Oh, it's from you. Well, cell phones can be good.
Right. I mean, you might be watching us on a phone right now.
Yeah.
You have an invitation to play Farm Builder.
Ooh. I don't have to look at my phone.
You know what? Me neither.
I can go longer than you without a phone.
Oh, you're on.
Let's do it!
Wow. All this free time.
Yeah, I know. You know, I could be learning Spanish right now. I actually got this really awesome app.
That might be your new game score. Right?
That sounds like a lot of new likes, doesn't it?
Okay, I'm thinking of something else. Thinking of something else.
It's
Time!
for
The story before the story.
Today we're in the second book of the Old Testament, Exodus.
God made a plan to bless the whole world through Abraham and Sarah's family.
But their descendants, the Israelites, traveled to Egypt to escape starving.
Over time, the Israelites were enslaved, but still, their families grew.
After hundreds of years, the Hebrew people cried out to God for help. God heard them and chose an unlikely helper.
A Hebrew man named Moses who had been raised in Pharaoh's palace, but ran away to live as a shepherd in Midian.
Moses is where our story starts.
Take it away.
Greetings, everyone. There's fire, darkness, frogs, and a whole lot more in this story, so hold on tight.
By the time our story starts, Moses was actually 80 years old. His early years in Pharaoh's palace were just a distant memory. He was living life as an ordinary shepherd until one day. Now, usually, when something catches fire, it just burns up, but this bush, it didn't. It glowed like a flaming beacon. As Moses edged nearer, a voice called to him from the midst of the fire.
Moses. Moses.
Here I am.
Don't come any closer. Take off your sandals. The place you are standing is holy ground.
Moses' hands shook as he tugged off his sandals.
I am the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. I have seen how my people are suffering in Egypt, so I have come down to save them. I will bring them to a good land. So now go. I am sending you to Pharaoh. I want you to bring the Israelites out of Egypt.
So many thoughts must have rushed through Moses' head. He had been raised in the palace by Pharaoh's daughter, but that Pharaoh had died and a new Pharaoh was in charge. Also, Moses had no idea if his own people would even accept him.
But what if the Israelites don't believe you sent me?
Throw your walking stick on the ground.
Okay, Moses did what he was told. Right then and there, God turned Moses' walking stick into a snake! And then back into a stick. Still, Moses was nervous. The bush continued to blaze.
Lord, I'm a terrible speaker in front of people.
Go. I will help you speak.
Couldn't you send someone else?
Your brother Aaron can speak well. He is already on his way to meet you. Tell him what to say. I will help both of you speak.
Even though the thought of facing Pharaoh probably made him sick with fear, Moses did travel back to Egypt. Together, Aaron and Moses spoke to the Israelites.
God has heard you. He will lead us out of Egypt.
We just have to okay it with Pharaoh.
Oh boy. Moses just probably wanted to run, but instead, he made his way to the palace where he had grown up. With Aaron, he stood his ground before the new Pharaoh.
Tell him, the Lord says, let my people go. Then they will hold a feast to honor me in the desert.
Aaron repeated the words loudly and clearly, and Pharaoh glared down.
Who is the Lord? Why should I obey him?
Instead of releasing God's people, Pharaoh gave orders for them to work even harder. Now the Israelites were upset with Moses for making things worse.
I did what you asked, and now it's just worse. You haven't saved your people at all.
Pharaoh will not listen to you, so I will use my powerful hand against Egypt. I will bring the people of Israel out of Egypt.
Even though God performed miraculous signs through Moses and Aaron in front of Pharaoh, he still would not listen. So, the next morning, Aaron and Moses met Pharaoh down at the Nile River. Moses instructed Aaron what to say and do.
The Lord has sent me to you. He says, let my people go. But you have not listened. Here is how you will know I am the Lord.
Aaron raised his staff high.
I will strike the water with this walking stick. The river will turn into blood. The fish will die, and no one will be able to drink the water.
The water turned to dark red blood. But still, Pharaoh was stubborn. Moses must have been just tempted to give up and go back to Midian, but God called him to speak to Pharaoh again and again.
God says, let my people go.
Over and over, Pharaoh promised to release God's people. And every single time, he went back on his word, even though God sent frogs, followed by gnats and flies. All the Egyptians' cattle died. Ugh. Terrible sores showed up all over the Egyptians and their animals. Hail rained down, destroying crops and tearing leaves from the trees. Ugh. Locusts finished off anything the hail left behind. Then, deep darkness descended across the whole land for 3 days. And at last came the most awful plague of all. The oldest son of every Egyptian family died. Only the Israelite families were saved by painting the blood of a lamb over their door frames, just as God had told them to do. When Pharaoh saw the terrible thing that had happened, he called Moses one last time.
Get out of here, all of you. Just leave us alone. Go.
Moses and Aaron gathered the people together.
No time to bake your bread. Just bring the dough along.
The Israelites packed up in the middle of the night and left as quickly as they could, leading their flocks and herds. After hundreds of years, God's people were finally free.
After so long, I bet they wanted to give up.
Yeah, but they didn't. They kept going. They kept calling out to God.
And Moses. I mean, if I were him, I definitely would have wanted to call it a day and leave.
Yeah, right? But Moses held on. He had seen God's presence in the burning bush, and he knew that God saw what he was going through.
And the Israelites, too.
So, what's our part in the story?
Well, when we face tough things, right, we can know that God sees us. God will help us through, even if it's, well, not in the way we expect.
Yeah, like maybe someone keeps being mean to you at school. I mean, that's awful. But you don't have to give up. You can talk to a grown-up about it, and you can trust that God will walk with you every step of the way.
Or maybe you've got something that doesn't go away, like a food allergy.
Oh yeah, that's a really hard one. But instead of giving up and grumbling, you can trust that God is with you and keep going.
Yeah, God never intended us to keep going on our own. So God gave us Jesus to walk with us. And when we put our trust in Jesus, He gives us the power to keep going.
Thanks, Brian.
Yeah. See you next time.
So here's the thing. Hold on, because God knows what you're going through. And that's how you grow grit.
You have 2 game invitations waiting.
Are you gonna get that?
Nah.
Well, thanks for joining us in the Story Lab. See you next time. You really think you can solve that?
I'm not smart enough for this.
Come on, I'll show you.
Oh.
This song talks about 2 really important things: God's love for us and God's grace for us. They are higher than the sky and deeper than the sea, which means they are greater than we could ever imagine. So stand up on your feet and worship with us.
Higher than the sky, your love is deeper than the sea. Your grace is washing over me and calling me your own, your own. Your light is burning through the shadows. I see the truth, there is nothing to fear. Your word, your way, your promise everlasting. Over and over, I see your hand. Higher than the sky, your love is deeper than the sea. Your grace is washing over me and calling me your own, your own. Your name, a tower in the battle. You are here, we have nothing to fear. Your voice, my river in the desert. Over and over, I see your hand. Higher than the sky, your love is deeper than the sea. Your grace is washing over me and calling me your own, your own.
Yeah, with a love and picture these words, it's a Snapchat boomerang with a praise center right back. Then we hide in the sky, no turn back. If it be last night, we got here. No fear, be clear, this is your year. Let go of anything that isn't God's steer. Vazi with a dream, and it's so clear, yeah, it's so clear. And you know wherever we go, I'ma stick close, they think we a duo. Bond so tight, hug it out like a sumo, and I'll never think twice. You're the boss of my life, no, you. And the world not down with us. They can try to live in faith, but it's down to us. Yeah, love so real.